I sat alone at the corner table, staring at the empty chair across from me, trying to pretend it did not hurt. The Kindling Cafe in Portland glowed with soft amber light, the kind that made everything feel warm and safe. But inside, I felt cold. My blue evening dress brushed against my legs as I shifted in my seat, checking my phone for the 10th time. No message, no missed call, just silence. Marcus was supposed to be here. He promised. 2 months of slow dinners, gentle conversations, and quiet smiles had led to this night. I believed he was different. I thought maybe, just maybe, I had found someone who cared about me for me. Not my job, not my money, just me. But 45 minutes had passed. The chair across from me stayed empty. The wine glass in front of it sparkled under the light, untouched, like a cruel joke. I forced my back straight and lifted my chin. I scrolled through my phone, pretending I was busy, pretending I was not waiting. Around me, couples leaned toward each other, laughing softly. Forks clinked against plates. A woman nearby rested her head on her partner's shoulder. Every sound felt louder, every smile sharper. I felt eyes on me. A young woman at the next table whispered something to her friend. An older man glanced at me with pity, the kind that burns worse than insults. My cheeks grew hot. I wanted to disappear. The server walked over quietly, his voice gentle but impossible to miss. "Excuse me, miss. It's been almost an hour. Should I cancel the other place setting?" The question landed like a slap. Conversations around us paused. Someone cleared their throat. I felt my throat tighten. "Yes," I whispered. "Please cancel it." The server nodded kindly, but the damage was done. My answer felt louder than the music, louder than the laughter. I had just admitted, out loud, that I had been stood up. I pressed my hands against the tablecloth and took a slow breath. Do not cry, I told myself. Not here, not now. But my eyes burned anyway. For the first time in years, I felt small. I had built my life on strength, on control, on never letting anyone see me break. But here I was, alone at a table meant for two, holding my dignity together with thin thread. I told myself the night could not get worse. I was wrong. From a few tables away, I felt someone watching me. I didn't look at first, I was too busy fighting my tears. But then I heard a soft child's voice. "Daddy, that lady looks sad." I glanced up. A man sat with a little girl across from him. She could not be more than 7. Her legs swung under the chair as she dipped a chicken finger into sauce. The man followed her gaze and looked at me. Our eyes met for a second. He did not stare. He did not look away quickly either. His eyes held understanding. "She looks really sad," the girl said again, "like you did when Mommy went to heaven." My heart squeezed. I looked down, ashamed to be seen like this. The man swallowed hard. I could see it. "You always tell me we should help people," the girl continued. "You said bad days feel smaller when someone is kind." She tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, can we help her?" The man hesitated. I could see him thinking. People around us were still watching me, pretending not to. The shame burned deep. "No one should have to eat alone when they're sad," the girl whispered. That did it. The man pushed his chair back and stood. He took his daughter's hand. Together, they walked toward me. Every step felt loud. My heart pounded. I wiped my eyes quickly and tried to look calm. He stopped beside my table. "Excuse me, miss. It's been almost an hour. I hope this is not too forward. My daughter and I noticed you're dining alone, and we were thinking no one should have to finish an evening by themselves." I stared at him, shocked. Words failed me. "You would not be imposing," he added quickly. "Would you like to join us?" Before I could answer, the little girl stepped forward and pulled a paper from her backpack. She spread it on my table proudly. "Look," she said, "this is Rainbow Spark." I leaned closer. It was a dragon, covered with bright colors. "He is vegetarian," seriously she explained. "He only breathes fire to cook vegetables for forest animals." A laugh escaped me. A real one. It surprised me. Rainbow spark, I repeated. He sounds very kind. Her face lit up. You get it, she said. Most people don't. Something inside me softened. I felt a crack in the wall I had built. I would love to join you, I said quietly. The man smiled and pulled out a chair for me. I sat, still feeling unreal. The weight on my chest began to lift. As the girl talked about dragons and colors, I realized something. For the first time that night, I was not pretending. And I had no idea that this simple moment was about to change my life forever. The tension that had wrapped around my chest all evening slowly began to melt. Sitting across from the little girl and her father, I felt something I had not felt in a long time. Comfort. Mia leaned forward, her elbows almost touching the table, still holding up her drawing. Her eyes sparkled as she pointed to every colorful scale on Rainbow Spark. He only uses fire to help, she said proudly. Like when the rabbits can't reach the high branches, he cooks the leaves so they fall down. I smiled, really smiling now. That is very thoughtful. Your dragon has a big heart. She beamed like I had just given her the greatest gift in the world. My daddy says kindness makes everything better, she said. I glanced at her father. He sat quietly, hands folded, watching her with soft eyes. There was something steady about him, something calm. He looked like a man who had been through storms and learned how to stand strong. That is very wise, I said to him. You raised her well. He chuckled lightly, a little embarrassed. She teaches me more than I teach her. The server returned with fresh bread and smiled when he saw us together. Looks like the night turned around, he said kindly. It really did, I replied. Minutes passed without me noticing. Mia told me stories about school, about a boy who thought dinosaurs were better than dragons, about her teacher who only liked green dragons, which she said was unfair because the world is not only green. I laughed so freely it almost shocked me. It felt strange, like I had forgotten how to do it. You're an artist, I told her. You see the world differently. Her mouth fell open. Daddy, she thinks I'm an artist. I've been telling you that, her father said, smiling. It feels more real when she says it, said Mia seriously. My heart swelled. We talked about silly things. I told them I loved puzzles, that I ate dessert before dinner sometimes. Mia gasped like I had just confessed a crime. You can't do that, she laughed. Daddy, she breaks rules. He shook his head playfully. Great, now she's going to copy you. We all laughed. For a moment, I forgot about Marcus, forgot about the empty chair, forgot about the stairs. I was not the woman who got stood up anymore. I was just Lauren, sitting at a table with strangers who suddenly felt like friends. By the time the plates were cleared, I felt lighter. Mia tugged my hand as we stood up. You have to come to my school, she said excitedly. I'll show you my new dragon drawing. I blinked. Your school? Yes, she said quickly. You can meet my librarian. She says books are superpowers. I crouched to her level. You really want me to come? She nodded hard. You're nice, and Daddy says new people see things better. I felt something warm in my chest. I'd love to, I said softly. She squealed and hugged me tightly. I froze for a second, then hugged her back. I did not know how much I needed that until that moment. Outside, the night air was cool. Streetlights glowed softly. She doesn't invite just anyone, her father said quietly. If she asks, she means it. I'll come, I promised. I won't miss it. A few days later, I stood outside Hearthlate Haven Elementary with a box of children's books in my hands. Stories about dragons, adventures, and brave kids. My heart beat fast. I did not know why I was nervous. Inside, lunch noise filled the room. Trays clattered. Kids laughed. Then I heard it. Lauren! Mia ran toward me and wrapped her arms around my waist. You came, she said breathlessly. Did you bring the books?
"I did," I smiled. She peeked inside the box and gasped, "Mrs. Peterson will love these." Her father walked over, still wearing his kitchen uniform. "You really came. I wasn't sure." "I promised," I replied. We sat together as kids gathered around. They showed me their drawings. I listened like each one was important, because they were. I did not feel like a stranger. I felt welcome. Later, I sat on the classroom floor with crayons. My dragon looked like a turtle, and we all laughed. "You're part of the picture now," Mia said happily. I smiled. I did not know it then, but this simple kindness was about to change everything.
The morning light filtered through the classroom windows, soft and pale, dusting the scattered crayons and papers with gold. I sat cross-legged among the children, watching them work on dragons and cats and creatures I had never imagined. Each time I looked up, Mia's little face shone with pride, eager to show me every detail. I found myself leaning closer, guiding tiny hands, laughing at uneven scales and crooked crowns. For the first time in years, I was not measured by my wealth, my title, or my achievements. I was just Lauren, present and alive in this chaos of imagination and color. From the doorway, Ethan watched quietly. I noticed the way he leaned lightly against the frame, arms folded loosely, a soft smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. At first, I expected him to worry that I would keep myself separate, to stay polished and distant, but I didn't. I knelt on the floor, my hands smudged with green marker. I laughed freely with the children. I answered their questions. I praised their wildest ideas. I belonged. Mia's dragon drawing had become a centerpiece. She pointed proudly to Rainbow Spark, now accompanied by other creatures from her imagination. "See, Daddy, she gets it," she said. Ethan chuckled softly, though there was a tension in his shoulders, I noticed. I helped a boy struggling with his colors, encouraging him to mix shades instead of erasing mistakes. His face brightened, and I realized how good it felt to guide and nurture, something a boardroom or fancy dinner could never give me. Another child asked if I liked cats, and soon I was sketching a clumsy kitten wearing a crown. Each laugh, each cheer, each bright-eyed gaze from the children made me forget the humiliation from the kindling cafe. It was while holding up my lopsided dragon, smiling proudly despite its odd shape, that I saw Ethan's expression change. He was still quiet, observing, but his eyes softened. There was admiration there now, a recognition of the woman who laughed with children, who knelt on the floor, who gave her full attention without judgment or pretense. And then it hit me, the same way it had when we first met in the cafe. How much this man and his daughter had quietly saved me. Mia had given me laughter and warmth, and Ethan had given me a safe place to be myself. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I could breathe without effort, like the weight of perfection had lifted. Later, while helping Mia gather her drawings, I noticed Ethan's hand clutching the newspaper from that morning. He looked tense, unreadable. My heart skipped. Something was about to change. "Lauren," he said quietly, holding the paper out to me, "we need to talk." I froze. My pulse quickened. Together, we walked to the playground, away from the noisy children, toward a quiet swing set. His voice broke the calm with a question that pierced me straight through. "Lauren Bennett, CEO, Billionaire, that's who you are." The photograph in his hands showed the confident, polished executive smiling for a magazine cover. My heart sank. I had feared this day, the moment when my life beyond the classroom and the cafe would collide with his reality. "Yes," I admitted softly, "that's who I am, but it's not all of me." His voice trembled, just slightly. "When you told me about your work, you left out details. Do you know what it feels like? I'm a school cook. I saved for weeks just to bring Mia here, and you?" I sat beside him, hands trembling. I didn't tell you because I wanted to be seen for me, not my title, not my money. With you and Mia, I could just be Lauren, laughing at dragons, eating soup in the cafeteria. That is the truest me." Mia's chest rose and fell. Hurt was there, but beneath it was recognition. He remembered the laughter, the gentle encouragement, the way I had knelt among the children. He saw the truth I had shown him. Silence stretched between us, heavy and fragile. Finally, he let out a long breath. "So, which one are you, the CEO or the woman who sat on the floor with my daughter?" "Both," I whispered, "but the one who wants to spend time with you and Mia, that's the real me." He studied my face, searching for pretense, finding none. Slowly he reached for my hand, calloused and strong, contrasting with my soft fingers. "No more secrets," he said firmly. I nodded, tears threatening again. "Deal. No more masks. You'll get all of me, the CEO, the woman, the one who cries at children's drawings." The playground was quiet. Not the silence of tension, but of understanding. Something fragile, something strong, something like love was growing between us. Spring came to Portland, bright and warm. Hearthlight Haven Elementary bloomed along with it. Library shelves overflowed with new books about dragons, adventures, and mysteries. The playground filled with laughter and energy. The art program thrived, paints and brushes breathing life into every imagination. During the spring festival, the schoolyard buzzed with children's cheers and parents' laughter. At the far wall, a massive mural stretched across the playground. Dragons, rainbows, forests, animals, dreams splashed in every imaginable color. I stood back, heart swelling, proud but humbled. Mia ran toward me, a cluster of classmates following. "Come see, it has rainbow spark and a library that reaches the sky," she shouted. I laughed, letting the children pull me forward, pointing out their contributions. I felt fully present, fully alive, fully seen. The festival buzzed around us, children laughing, parents cheering, popcorn scent drifting in the spring air. But suddenly, everything else faded. Ethan stepped forward, stopping in front of me. The world seemed to hush. Even the carnival sounds softened. In his hand, a small velvet box gleamed under the sun. Mia bounced beside him, clutching a tiny second ring as a backup. Her excitement was impossible to contain. "Group hug! Now we're really a family!" she shouted before I could even react. Ethan knelt, the box open. "Lauren Bennett," he began, his voice steady but tender. "A year ago, you turned the worst night of my life into the beginning of something I didn't know I needed. You let me rescue you, and in return, you rescued me. You rescued Mia. You gave us laughter. You gave us hope. Today, I want to rescue all of us from ever being lonely again. Will you marry me?" Tears sprang to my eyes. The woman who had once sat alone at the kindling cafe, humiliated and abandoned, now stood surrounded by love, laughter, and hope. My lips trembled, and through the tears the word came out. "Yes, absolutely yes." Mia squealed, jumping into our embrace. "Group hug, we're a real family now." The children around us cheered. Parents clapped. The entire festival seemed to spin around our embrace. I leaned my forehead against Ethan's, laughter and tears mingling. In that moment, I realized what I had been searching for all along. Happiness was not in the wealth I guarded or the power I wielded. It was here, in the arms of a man who cooked for children, in the love of a little girl who believed dragons could feed the world, in the life we promised to build together. Sometimes the greatest gifts don't arrive with grand entrances or perfect timing. Sometimes the best things begin on nights that feel broken, and sometimes happiness finds you exactly when you need it most.
The next morning, I walked into Hearthlight Elementary carrying a box of books, each one carefully chosen for the children. Stories about dragons, adventures, mysteries, pages filled with color, imagination, and hope. Mia ran to me, arms wide, and hugged me fiercely. "You came! You really came!" she exclaimed. "Did you bring the books? Are they for the library?" "I did," I said, smiling. Ethan stood nearby, watching us quietly, still in his uniform from the school kitchen. When our eyes met, there was a mix of admiration, gratitude, and something softer, something like longing. I knew then that our lives had changed in ways neither of us could have expected. I spent the day among crayons, colored pencils, and laughter. Children showed me their artwork, and I listened, praised, and encouraged. I laughed at my lopsided dragons, taught a boy to mix colors instead of erasing mistakes, and joined in the chaos fully. I felt seen, valued, and alive. Ethan observed silently from the doorway, realizing the woman he had met, the woman who had sat at the cafe, broken and alone, was now fully present. No pretense, no titles, just Lauren. And he felt something stir inside him he hadn't admitted in years. Hope. That afternoon, we sat together, hands brushing, hearts quietly connecting. There were no promises of perfection, only the certainty that we would try, together, step by step. Later, during the spring festival, the children guided me to the mural they had painted. Rainbows, dragons, forests, dreams, every color imaginable. I stood back, marveling at their creativity and joy, realizing my hands had only added a small part to something so magnificent. Ethan came to stand beside me, steady and calm. "You belong here," he said softly. "I do," I whispered, feeling it deep in my chest. "With you and Mia, I do." He smiled, and as I looked at the children around us, their laughter ringing in my ears, I understood. I was not measured by wealth or title. I was measured by my love, my kindness, and the connections I had allowed to grow. On that day, surrounded by children, colors, laughter, and love, I found the family I didn't know I had been searching for. And in Ethan's eyes, I saw the same realization. Sometimes, life's greatest treasures come when we least expect them, in moments we never plan, in hearts willing to open. For the first time in years, I felt whole. And as I held Ethan's hand and watched Mia run towards us, I knew that the best chapter of my life had only just begun.